What's up, everybody? It's Fomoby Dick. Today is Monday, July 9th, 2018. Hope everybody had a fantastic Monday. I've got the usual crew in Crypto Euclid and Mystical Oaks, the goddess, with me tonight. And then we have a very special Bitcoin beggar back on with us and a surprise guest, CryptoWendyo. CryptoWendyo.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hey. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hi. Okay, cool.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you. Bitcoin beggar, you want to say hi?
Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for having me. You know, I appreciate this.
Yuki.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Living the dream.
Yeah, we're doing it, man. This is it. We've hit it. Big time.
This is it. Yep. Goddess, how are you?
Good. I'm great, Fomoby.
Is he behaving himself?
Hell no.
Currently, he's kind of behaving.
I like his.
Got me on a pretty heavy dose of tranquilizers.
I wish.
So I'm pretty well, tranked up tonight. So I should.
He's been good today.
Yeah.
So, you guys, Bitcoin beggar, Euclid, Goddess, you guys have been here before. This is CryptoWendyo's first time. CryptoWendyo, do you want to introduce yourself? Kind of tell us what you're doing with crypto, how you got involved, anything else as far as that goes?
Sure. So I got in November 2017, and I got in just buying stuff on Coinbase, and then I got really excited about everything. And then because the price kept going up like crazy, then I started to get wrecked a little bit. So then I taught myself how to trade, how to chart, and then now I host trading meetups, teaching TA, and I post like free content for people to learn and answer DMs, all that fun stuff.
Do you get overwhelmed with the constant questions at all?
Sometimes, yeah. I get a lot of DMs, and I try to answer all of them. And sometimes I'm just like, but
yeah,
I love it. It feels really cool to be able to help other people and to teach and to be a part of the community. I love this community more than any other community I've been a part of. So I'm just happy to help as I can. And I feel like blockchain in general and crypto, I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for, as far as career wise and all that type of stuff. So
I think you're right. And I think you're running with the right crowd, because we're looking at doing the same sort of stuff with, not only learning, but turning around and sharing what we learned with others. So that's really cool and noble.
Yes. I'm intimidated.
Could be.
Yep, we have some very powerful and smart women in this space.
Yeah,
I love it.
this space is awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them, but I agree.
Well, I feel like
Right.
this is a great community. Like, I just stumbled upon it and, brought my wife into it too. And yeah, everyone that we meet on here is just amazing and awesome. We're lucky to know all you guys.
All right, so tonight we are going to talk about some trade indicators. We're going to talk about Keltner channels, what those are, and we're going to talk about volume. So let me see. I'm going to start sharing my screen here. I should be able to see that. Endless screens. It keeps going. Okay. Keltner channels. Let me get rid of some of the other stuff that I've got pulled up here. So these blue lines here, can you guys see this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the blue lines are Keltner channels. The inside is your kind of like a moving average. And then is the upper line is your upper band, and the bottom is your lower band, obviously. And these are essentially a channel that the price is going to stay in based on the moving average and volatility. So And where this is good for trading, let's zoom out. Let's look at the bigger picture here. We always want to get that all-time high in there. So where it's good for trading is you can see maybe some opportunities when things get extended over outside of the top of these Keltner channels. Maybe it's a good time to take some sales, take some profit. And then the inverse is also true whenever you see things way below, or maybe on a smaller time frame, touching the bottom of these bands. Maybe that's your point of maximum financial opportunity. Maybe that's the time you want to be buying. Again, as we've said with all of these indicators, they're to be used in conjunction with others. And they're a tool that you can use to help make the highest probability trade you can have. So I'm going to scoot in here. Let's go to a 4 hour. Actually, I like 4 hour for this. So every time that we popped way outside of the top of this, you can kind of see how that became a really good selling opportunity. And if you didn't have bids placed up here, maybe you could catch it back on the way down and do a market sell and still be able to buy back in cheaper. Maybe we didn't hit the lower band, but you still had a good ample opportunity to buy back in cheaper if you had sold somewhere up in here.
Can I point something out really quick?
Yes, absolutely.
So the middle part, the middle MA, that can also, I don't know if you're going to get into that, but it also acts as a support or a support line for the candles.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Support and resistance at times too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so and then I've got it set up on the 14. Like, see, I'll show you guys how to open this up. So the length, this is your 14 moving average, 14 day moving average. So I set the middle band up on a 14. The guy that I learned a lot of this stuff from, that's one of his. That's how he sets it up, and I just kind of fell into that and have stuck with it. So, and then he has a really good explanation of why, but I can't recall exactly what it is on why he sets his at the 14. But yeah, you can see pretty easily if you're just trading based off these channels alone on this 4 hour chart in the last couple days, handful of days, week, whatever. You had some good opportunities to make some shorter term trades just based off of the Keltner channels. Now, here's where that could get you in trouble. If we went back to the daily chart, and let's see if we can zoom in back over here. You can see where if you had sold up here and thought we were coming back down into this, obviously you're not going to get any buys down here. We popped right back up and went to 20,000. So that could get you in trouble. But, again, waiting that out, you had plenty of opportunity after that to buy back in cheaper. So that's basically all I've got on Keltner channels. Do you guys have anything to add? Any questions?
I just want to add that I never had heard, well, I think I actually read about them before in one of my books, but I thought it was really cool that you brought it up because they're actually a lot like Bollinger Bands, which I use, and the Bollinger Bands, they measure the volatility of the market, and how, like you were saying, if you get like a pinch on like the upper part of the MA band, of the upper part of the cloud, you'll get like a dramatic drop down. So I don't know. I think that I might actually try using the Keltner bands and see, or the Keltner channels, and see how they work. But
what I like the Bollinger Bands because it's a little bit. It's actually quite a bit different than the Keltner channels. They have similarities, but the Bollinger Bands are taking into account the volatility a whole heck of a lot more than your. Oh shoot! Sorry guys. Are taking into account your volatility a whole lot more. So where you have the pinches on the Bollinger Bands, that's where you're going to begin to see increased volatility. So you see how these upper and lower bands really opened up right here because we had that period of volatility. And then what did they do? They pinched right back down because we didn't see so much volatility in price action. So those, if you start to see something pinch down, you can use the Bollinger Bands in conjunction with other indicators to kind of tell you which way it's going to be volatile, and you know which direction it's going to become volatile in.
Right.
Okay, that was that. Let's see. Let's go back to the daily. Now we're going to talk about volume. Wait, did you guys did any of you guys other than Wendy have anything about counter channels?
No, sir.
No, we're good.
I'm learning.
Me too. I'm absorbing.
Just taking it all in.
Okay. All right. So volume is huge, in my opinion. It's something that you always need to be taking into account. And there was a quote. I can't remember who said it, but something about the prices will not rise unless demand exceeds supply, and the demand is measured in volume, and thus volume must precede price. So I think it's really important to pay attention to volume, and so let's see. Oh crud! I'm not sharing anymore, am I?
No. Oh, there you go.
Okay, so down on the bottom of this chart, you guys can see we've got these, look like candles, but they're all just kind of stacked up here at the bottom, like a bar graph, maybe. This is your volume. So what you're looking for in this is you're looking for sustained higher volume, and you're looking for green volume. Obviously, that's buy volume. Unless you know how to, get on BitMEX or whatever, Bitfinex, and short this stuff. You're looking for green candles and lots of volume. That's telling you that there is a great deal of demand at that price, and we have seen that in the past. If we go back to February, we got down here. We had that capitulation bottom. I think it was at 6,000, and then had just a massive day of volume. And you can see the top of the volume here, where my crosshair is. It's way up there. I think that was our highest volume day ever. But oh crud, what was I going to say? So you can see how when we get down here to these levels, the demand becomes great, that it precedes price, and we have these good little bull trends for a short period of time. Now, another thing I want you to notice is how much the volume has dropped off. And actually, we'll take the bulk of this and we'll come down so that you can kind of see we don't have a whole lot of days coming up above this trend line. Most of the volume has been dropping off. So, and that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't demand. That it does mean that there isn't demand. It means also that we may be looking to get down lower here before we start seeing that massive volume spike up again.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions or anything you want to add?
I do want to say that you can, the little squiggly line that's around the volume.
Yes, the orange one.
Some people use that as like a support and resistance line sometimes, and you also can draw you can use divergences on that. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
As well.
Yes.
So.
I don't think we've got into the divergences yet with this, but we'll get there. I don't want to throw too much on anybody's plate at one time.
Oh yeah. I'm still learning those myself too, because I always they're always something that I overlook when I'm charting.
Yeah, but they're incredibly helpful, and I think people should certainly learn about those. and they're it's often overlooked, and it can be very key in helping you set up a good trade. So,
Right.
All right. Any questions from you, Yuki Goddess Beggar?
I'm good.
No, not really.
No, I think for me, it's been a little bit tougher because I don't necessarily trade Bitcoin. I trade altcoins. So for me, the volume indicators are a little bit more magnified. I try to pay attention to those. And it's been tough lately because obviously volume's been down all around. But I kind of look for those spikes where you get the little volume spikes and then the price doesn't really move much. I try to look for that, try to get in where I maybe see a mini whale or somebody trying to make a big purchase. That's kind of how I use the volume. I've never really played with the channels much. I've tried, but I've failed, so I've kind of forfeited myself to those. But the volume, for sure, I think that is a great way to tell where you're at. And I think it's always been, I think it's a safe way to judge where the market's heading. And I'm glad you touched this topic.
Yeah, we've been kind of overdue on volume. I think we should have had that a little bit earlier, but either way, I'm glad that we're able to touch on it tonight too, and we've got some good input from CryptoWendyo that leads us in another direction. We need to discuss divergences at some point too.
Yes, I'll tune in for that. Definitely.
I think that baby wants to say something.
Dude, it's so cute.
I know.
I'm trying to focus on you, but your kid in the background's cute. It's funny because I hear mine in the background. So I feel at home.
She's giving her analysis right now.
Yeah.
She's
Talking.
The oracle.
I think
That's awesome.
may have put something in her diaper that tells us how the market's doing.
Yeah.
So what are you guys feeling right now? I watched the other day, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, as Bitcoin crossed bullish on the dailies for the 10 and 20 EMA. Actually, I'll share that up with everybody. Hold on, let me get it back on the chart.
I know it's going to sound kind of silly, but I feel pretty good where we are right now. I feel like, and I felt like when we were down there at 5,800, that there was a good chance that we were going to take a big dip, and we didn't. We kind of popped back up, and then came back down a hair, and then I thought it was possible we were going back to 5,800 again, and we didn't. So, and I'm looking now, we're down a little bit from yesterday, but I feel pretty good about where we are. I was kind of excited to see some alts make some moves today. I noticed Digibytes had a couple good days, and looked like Zen was up. So that's always encouraging to me to see that. And also, too, there's been some volume back in alt exchanges, and I always get excited about that.
Yeah, when I saw the cross the other day on the 10 and 20 EMA, I got a little bit excited also. I'll show you guys that now. This is what I'm talking about right here. The green and yellow lines are the 10 and
Hello?
20. Are you there?
Hello?
Did you lose us?
This is Dog.
We lost her.
Uh-oh.
Hello, this is Dog.
That tunnel you just put on the screen, she fell in there.
Yeah, we lost her.
You can get. Oh, is she out now?
Yeah.
Well, crud. Anyways, this cross that I was talking about, that got me a little bit bullish. And then I had trend lines on here earlier, but I took them off. And I feel like maybe we might be headed somewhere in the ballpark of 72 to 7,500 short term. And then when we get there, we need to see, how Bitcoin responds to the longer term downtrend line, which I can put on here also.
Yeah, I did not notice that line, Moby. I'm glad you showed me that. That does encourage me.
So that was my downtrend line that I was talking about. And if we kind of zoom back in on that, you can see where maybe, oh crud, this is not what I want. Where did my drawing tool go? So maybe we do something like this up into that line, and that puts us, that's at 7,400 right there. And then when we get to that line, that's obviously gonna, maybe make some resistance. And I had a bottom on this too, so that we could see kind of the bottom side of this triangle, and you could see, it kind of comes out this direction. But
Yeah.
we're either gonna break through here. It's somewhere in the ballpark of 72 to 7,500, and get some good signs of bullishness, or we're gonna break down and continue out into that triangle. But who's to say? Just have to keep your eye on that.
Yeah, I have this funny feeling if we get anything near that 7,400 mark, you're going to see some profit taken. And, maybe even if when you zoom back out, you'll see that maybe even just start leveling out and riding just kind of in the trend there. But an encouraging trend. Like I said, this thing could have went south a couple weeks ago. And I feel like it did, and I feel like we could be somewhere near support here as far as people not willing to sell at this price.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm DMing CryptoWendyo right now. She said she got kicked out. I didn't kick her out. Did you do it, Yuki? I know you. You're being a cute, aren't you?
I didn't do it.
Yeah, he's mad at her.
So yeah, I think that's really good thought, Beggar. And then I also want to point out, last time that we had this bullish cross, we sustained it for a while up to almost 10,000, or we made it to 10,000. I can't remember. But you can see the pitch at which this 10 EMA comes up over here, and we don't have that here, but we also don't have the volume. You see that massive volume spike that we had last time we got around the $6,000 support.
Right. I agree with that. I think you're right. I think you're going to see it start to kind of level out here. But it is encouraging to see that crossover like that. If we could get that to gap out a little bit further.
Yeah, and I almost wonder that this, last couple days of pullback, we really haven't seen the bulls step in yet.
Right.
And, I mean, that's proven in the volume.
Uh-huh.
So.
Hey, can
Yeah,
you
I
guys,
think
She's back.
oh, there she is.
We missed you.
can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So sorry about that.
Okay. Okay. So we were actually talking about the 10 and
right
20 EMA crossing.
If you look at those volume spikes at the bottom in that last ticker you had.
I think I was on like a 1 hour time frame. Yeah.
Yeah, see those volume spikes down there. We're due.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some good volume coming in on this 1 hour that would make you think something's up. Somebody's buying here,
Agreed.
and I don't know if they're setting up short. These are setting up short squeezes or what. I think that it could go either way. What I'm really looking for is that downtrend line that I drew.
Right.
I'm looking to see if we can even get to that downtrend line, and then what we do when we arrive at it. So
Right. Break above it. I still feel good about
When
it.
you guys look at the do you guys look at the larger time frames, like the weekly?
yes, yeah,
I do too.
So we've touched on this in the past, and the larger the time frame, the more reliable the information that you're getting. So
Right. Less volatile.
if you look on it, it looks kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the green on the left of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
Well,
there's still a lot of green. I mean, when we get down to these areas, there's
Well, and if you look in there between September in 2016 and then May and September on the left there, you
Yeah.
can see where those people were buying in at a decent price, man. And then it didn't take much for it to take off.
yeah, that was exciting, that time when it was just rocketing up, you know. Like every time I
That
check.
looks funny.
scrolling a little bit too vigorously there. What do you think, Wendy? Where do you see us going from here? What are some things that you're looking at, and what are you keeping your eye on?
who, me?
Yes, Wendy.
Okay, so I like on my chart, I can see that the weekly is really bullish because the RSI and MAC from the over area. So that makes me excited for the future. And like as far as like the 4 hour and the 1 day, we're going to be consolidating a bit. And I also use the Stoch RSI, not the regular one.
Use the stochastic on larger time frames.
I use them on all my charts. I use the Bollinger Band, stochastic, and the MACD.
Okay.
That's what I use.
Nice.
Yeah. And Bollinger Bands. I love those.
Yeah, those are my fave. And I draw like 9 million trend lines.
I like the stochastic RSI for like entries and exits on smaller time frames. If I'm trying to pinpoint an entry or an exit, I like to use it for that.
But look how it's bouncing from the.
Yeah, it is. There is a good, degree of upturn here.
Isn't it on the stochastic RSI with the two lines? See where the blue and the red kind of intersect? Isn't there something to do with that? Like if you notice, okay, every time the blue and the red intersect, something happens. Correct?
Right. So I call that like this a bull cross. And the reason why I call it a bull cross is because I anticipate it's on the beginning of July. I anticipate that price is going to pop and increase. It's going to start heading, but if it can break that resistance line, that little purple line at the bottom, or head into that purple box, it makes me bullish that price is going to continue to go up into oversold.
So anybody that's unfamiliar with this, when we're down here on these lines, we're at an oversold position, and when we are up towards the top of this stochastic RSI, that's an overbought position.
Correct.
So again, maximum financial risk, maximum financial opportunity.
So you should be buying when it's down there below the purple.
Well, you should use that with other indicators that would tell you that, but that's part of the equation. Yes, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah, because if you look at your thing there, the places where it kind of got above the purple, over to the left a couple times, and then it dropped down, and then down below the purple, and it got up into the purple. So yeah, I see how you can try to figure out what's going to happen next. The tea leaves.
That's it.
Yes.
Your baby's so cute.
Thanks. We bought her.
For me, at least.
She's a little bit over 3 months old, so we went and bought her she's teething.
Oh wow, okay.
So she's teething right now.
Yeah.
But we bought her a little chair with a little spin around like tray, and then when we eat dinner, she sits on her end of the table in her little chair and can look down on all of us. So
Yuki's got one of those, don't he?
He does.
Okay, I thought so.
When I eat, I wear this bib thing that kind of goes around. It's like a big tray. It catches all the food that I fall.
Here we go.
I had to do it.
Are we still live? It says Fomoby not presenting anymore. Oh no, there it goes. You're good.
Yeah, I just took my screen off there so we could see the little abbies.
Yep. Babies and cryptocurrency. That's what it's
Right.
about.
Any altcoins you guys want to look at?
Oh, I want to look at Pink Coin. I noticed I was checking my Coinami wallet the other day, and all of a sudden my Pink Coin like doubled in value, and then it kind of dropped down, and then I noticed today it's sort of ticking back up there.
So this is the weekly chart on Pink Coin. Look at where we're at right here. We are just like
I can't see anything.
We don't see nothing.
I'm looking at a whale.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Don't fall in this time, Wendy. Okay. I'm gonna.
Close your eyes, Wendy. Oh, shoot! I just fell in.
Here you go. Pink Coin. This is the weekly chart.
Oh, it looks really nice.
It looks so oversold right now, and this is
getting ready to pop though.
Yeah, this is very, very solid support in my opinion.
Yes.
Can you zoom out and so I can see? Zoom out as far as you can. Okay. So you're technically not completely at bottom yet.
No.
With this, but it's close.
No. Yeah, I would say that this is your new support after we popped through back in April of last year.
No, what's funny is if you look at a lot of the charts and alts, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it.
They all sort of follow that. I mean,
They do.
Yeah.
So who knows where it's to go from here? But if I was drawing some targets, maybe somewhere in the ballpark of nine. I like to do whole and half numbers, so maybe somewhere in the ballpark of 950 satoshis to 1100 is a very possibly a safe play there longer term. Let's go to the daily on this. Let's see what it looks like. So on the daily, we actually look like we're headed back down to an oversold position.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the reason I don't like to use stochastic RSI on the longer term time frames, because you see we had the massive pop here, but we weren't even approaching some of the earlier oversold conditions. But I mean, it's still fairly reliable.
Sometimes FA plays into that too. You know, sometimes something will happen, somebody will say something, and you can just throw all the TA out the window. I know this, that's kind of why I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, because I feel like that we're due something along those lines. I know Coinbase has been talking, adding alts and stuff, and I think that would help Bitcoin as well, but I think that, sometimes you'll get those pumps out of nowhere, and it wouldn't have anything to do with the TA. It's more of what's going on socially.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes with some of these coins that's really cool. If you follow like their Discord or Telegram, you can get just tips on what's going on with their roadmap or whatnot. And sometimes that helps plan your entries and exits accordingly.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know like right now the Dogecoin team is working on an ETH bridge, and I can only assume that that's going to help, Doge overall in the long term, which would be at some point in time bullish.
So I'm going to read a quote from Paul Tudor Jones. The secret to being successful from a trading perspective is to have okay, I'm going to struggle with this word, indefatigable and undying and unquenching thirst for information and knowledge. So it's not confined to looking at charts. And I learned this actually very early on when I was a youngster, we did like it would have been the essential of a demo account, and I was in a can't remember if it was economics or accounting class, but we had so much supposed dollars, and we had to go in and buy stocks. And essentially, what I did is I looked at fads. And I bought, I can't remember, I think it was Hanson Energy, the company that makes Monster energy drinks. And Under Armour was another one. But in 3 months, I had, done 23% with the stocks that I had went into that. So you have your knowledge. It's like these charts in that you can't just look at one thing. You have to look at so many different things. And you have to look beyond the charts, obviously, with what you guys are talking about, fundamental analysis.
Well, I was in a club. I was in a club at school. I was in an investment club, and they mainly we managed a portfolio for some clients, and the way that they would enter and exit trades was not based on the charts at all. It was all based on the FA behind the different stocks and the yield curve and the economy and all that type of stuff, which I thought was really interesting because I was like, you guys don't check the charts, you guys just like market buy. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So it was a kind of cool experience for me until they kind of threw me out. But yeah.
So back when I started trading alts, it was 2014. It was a lot different back then. There wasn't as many alts, and you could go to Bitcoin Talk Forum, the alt, and you could just kind of scour that, and it would just take something positive, and then you would literally see the markets move. Where nowadays it's not like that. Like it really does take some. It takes a push by the community. It seems like more now to make something pop, which isn't a bad thing. Back then it was pretty volatile, and a lot of times people would say things that weren't true to try to push the price around. To where nowadays, actually, I remember 2014. There was a guy on Twitter that had claimed that he was hacked on his, I think it was his BitPay account, and on Twitter, the CEO or whatever ended up finding out about this tweet and threatened the guy, with lawyers and stuff, and he ended up deleting his account. But Bitcoin took a hit. The price of Bitcoin took a hit because of that tweet. Where if that were to happen nowadays, that wouldn't do what it did back then. So, I feel like we've been through some growing pains, and that overall, it's a good thing that news doesn't necessarily, and FA doesn't necessarily move the markets like it used to in crypto.
Some good history right there for us that weren't involved that early on.
Right.
Yeah, man, I miss it. So I used to have a really big old miner. It was an ASIC miner. It was a couple grid seed blades, and man, I would just hawk Bitcoin Talk and the alt and I would just wait for new coins to launch, and try to catch them at launch with low difficulty and mine the blocks myself, and end up with it. It really was kind of like trading where you're rolling the dice a little bit. You would spend 2 weeks mining something that wouldn't be worth anything, but if you held it, as a matter of fact, there was a coin I had mined like 2.5 years ago, and I think it was November or December when we had our pop in 2017. I had still had that coin from 2.5 years ago, and I made so much money on it, where if I would have sold it back then, I would have probably not even covered my electricity. So, it was like risk and reward back then, where now, I guess you could do that. I guess you could hawk Bitcoin Talk for new launches, but it just seems like the money has been so dispersed because of ICOs and tokens that's not really that great of a play anymore. You're almost better off just multi-pool mining.
Yeah, that's something that I think at some stage we'll get into talking about some mining on this on this podcast, but I don't want to go there yet because we're still doing the trading stuff. But I think the mining is really the coolest part of crypto because you are invested in the infrastructure of the coin. You're not just going and buying the coin and holding on to it. You're you're part of the network, and I think that's really cool. You
Right.
kind of play more of an active role in growing that network, in my opinion. So.
Well, and two, if you're mining it, then it probably has its own blockchain. So, and
Yeah.
I always encouraged by that. I don't want to hate on the tokens too much, but I like the idea of it having its own chain. I mean, I know it creates issues, but yeah. So when you talk about mining, keep me in mind, Moby. I'd love to join you for that one.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you on and get some knowledge from you for sure. Because I have, like, my mining knowledge is it's very limited. I haven't even really begun to scrape the surface. I mean, I'm mining, through my computer, but it's not even profitable. I'm losing money at this point. But that's something that I look to get into in the future, and I was kind of planning on this fall doing that, but it's not looking like I'm going to just yet. So.
Well, and the mining on your computer is a great way to learn. That's kind of how I got into it back in the day. When Dogecoin first launched, I was mining it with my laptop, and I was mining like 5,000 Dogecoin a day back then. So it was like I learned there the basics, and then kind of went from there. And even when I did buy the bigger miners that I bought, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had to learn.
That was kind of my plan, is to go like and find all the equipment and buy it, and then force myself to learn how to get it going. So
yeah, I tell you, it's a lot better nowadays than it used to be.
Really?
A lot of it is plug and play now.
Is it profitable now? Well, you said, Fomoby, you're not profitable at the moment, but like, is it even possible for the average Joe to mine Bitcoin or Litecoin or something? I mean, or is it just not worth it?
So I'm actually getting paid out in Bitcoin, but I guess what my computer's mining is things like Monero, other altcoins. I'm using that Honey Miner application. It was really easy to install and everything, but
yeah, that's kind of like a multi-pool, I believe. I don't use that, but I think what it's doing is it's searching for the most profitable coin to mine at the time, and taking it, selling it for Bitcoin, and giving you the profit. I know it's not at a profit, but yeah, probably not, Yuki. I mean, you're not going to buy anything that's going to compete, really. The difficulty in Bitcoin is pretty tough right now. I mean, you're going up against Asia,
right?
Which is kind of what I was getting at earlier, where if you're mining the smaller altcoins, there were times where I would be mining with 2 or 3 other people, and if you do hit a block, you're going to get what you put in as far as hash rate goes, but at the same time, you're splitting that amongst a handful of people, and it's a little bit easier, or I just feel like it's a little bit more profitable for me when I'm mining versus trying to mine Litecoin. And not that mining Litecoin is a bad thing, just that I like to risk it a little bit more. Where with Bitcoin, you can still mine it and you're still going to make money, but man, you're going up against a lot of other. We're talking like factories, man, where they just run Bitcoin miners.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What do you? I don't know too much about mining, but I do know that the halving's coming up. What do you guys think about that? Because I don't know much about that either.
Yeah, I want to know what Baker thinks about that as far as what it'll do for price and everything.
Okay, so ever since I started this, anytime anything ever halved, me personally, I would get excited about it because I appreciate economics. I appreciate scarcity. And for me, that just means that there's less supply in the future. And I get bullish on that. But the reality is that when I've seen anything halve, it was never what I thought it was going to be in the markets. I mean, a couple examples would be if you go back and look at the times that Litecoin or Dogecoin have halved, it has not done what I thought it would do. You know, I don't know if, I guess maybe my first time going through a halving, I thought, oh, well, shit, the price is going to double. You know, like there's going to be half the amount in the future, so the price will double. And I was obviously lost my tail. But since then, even, you know, just big coins, I would wait for the halving and it would happen and the market would almost essentially wouldn't even reflect it or would even kind of dump on people that were buying before. Now Bitcoin, that's a different animal. You know, there's so much competition out there, people trying to compete with Bitcoin. I almost kind of feel like it would be bullish for Bitcoin. One of the benefits I believe would be that the news might talk about it. You know, outside of crypto news, maybe some mainstream news would say, "Hey, look, you know, the supply is getting ready to be, the future going to be cut," and you know, maybe investors would see that and say, how does this work? You know, what do you mean that the supply is going to cut? How does this work? And maybe get involved. So, I mean, that's kind of where I am with the halving. I personally think it's a good thing.
Did it, Bigger? You said it didn't do what you thought it would do. Is that it just underperformed, or it was still, you know, was it still positive, but it just?
The last halving I remember with Dogecoin specifically, it was a substantial halving. I mean, I felt like at the time that it would reflect a bullish market, and I think other people felt that way too, and they were buying in before the halving. And what took place is that people kind of just, it was like a buy on hype, sell on news. I mean, it was kind of one of those deals where people kind of would get dumped on. But for the most part, you know, I guess it depends on what kind of a trader you are. If you're looking for something to make a quick profit on, or if you're someone like me that really doesn't give a crap and is looking long term, like you're pulling up those Bitcoin charts and you're zooming out. That's kind of how I like to look at things because I'm in no hurry here. You know, this is kind of, a lot of this is for my children. So I try to, you know, as long as we don't fall off the map. And I think, you know, FOMO doing these live streams shows that we're not falling off the map, that people are interested, and that therefore I still feel bullish, you know, with or without a halving.
Cool. Anything else, guys, on the mining for Baker? Because I don't know crap.
Yeah, me either. I'm excited. It's something I want to learn in the future and to act as like a portfolio hedge when we're in bear market. So I'm excited to do that in the future, but
yeah, that's my favorite. Like I can talk about mining and POS, POW all day long. I think that's the bare guts. To me, that's the bare guts of cryptocurrency is you know, because if people aren't mining that chain and, you know, your transactions lag and it has an economic risk, you know, if nobody's mining it or if they are. So yeah, that's always been one thing for me, that I enjoy to do it, and also that I went ahead and educated myself on it to the point where I felt comfortable and could actually, you know, speak to other people about it.
But could you mine, like, could Tamara and I mine Doge? Would that be something that worth checking into? Like when it gets cooler?
So with Dogecoin, Yuki, it's a lot different now. So back in the day, yeah, you would have been able to just mine Dogecoin. And the thing about Dogecoin is that the supply is infinite. It's forever. There will always be Dogecoin printed, I guess you could call it that, or coined.
Right.
And so, but the thing about it is that it's merged with Litecoin. So our chains are merged. Therefore, when you mine Litecoin, you get Dogecoin.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So whenever at the tail end of my mining, I just went ahead and did that. I was mining sites that would honor me because there's some pools that don't honor you with Dogecoin for your Litecoin that you're mining, but I would find sites that did. And and the thing is that the supply from here on out with Dogecoin yearly, you don't get a lot. You know, you would really have to mine a lot. You know, that was one good thing, because I wasn't a big fan when Palmer decided to make this chain go and for Dogecoin to be coined forever. I was not a big fan of that. I like the idea of a cap,
Right.
but at the same time, the supply is so minimal. It's almost probably covering what people lose or forget about. So it almost wouldn't really be profitable to say I'm going to mine Dogecoin. You know, it'd be more I'm mining Litecoin, and I don't know what the electricity in versus what you're going to get out on Litecoin is right now, but I'm bullish on Litecoin. You know, I'm bullish on everything. So I feel like, you know, you're doing it now.
Yeah.
As the markets go down, so does the hash rate. So do people that are mining. You'll see where in markets, in bear markets, where people sell their miners.
Right.
And that means those people aren't mining. So the networks aren't, you know, the hash rates aren't there. And that's when you want to be mining, because you're going to reap, the difficulty is lower. You're going to reap more benefit. So, you know, and how great is that you can mine Litecoin and get Dogecoin, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Trogdor in the chat was telling me he's using NiceHash. Do you have any familiarity with that, Beggar?
Okay, so I'm trying to go back into my memory, but if I'm not mistaken, I think NiceHash had a hiccup a couple years ago where they kind of just disappeared, and then they came back. And if I'm not, I believe I had an account with them and was using them, and when they disappeared, you know, I kind of just counted it as a loss. And when they came back, it was like the stipulations on getting that account that you had before, I must have just missed it or something. So I essentially lost everything that I had with them. So I guess that would be the only thing I would say about them. I would have to probably double check that. And I hate to be saying something negative about NiceHash if that's not what happened.
Right.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think that did happen, and that maybe even me personally got caught up in that. But I'm not hating on them. I want to verify that.
Any idea of like how long ago that was?
I would say approximately 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I want to say that NiceHash just fired back up, like within a year, I would say. But again, you know, I might even double check that tonight. And if I'm wrong, I might pull that back, because I don't want to say anything that's inaccurate.
So Trogdor had tried the honey miner, the one that I mentioned, and he said that with NiceHash, he was getting 10 to 15% more than the honey miner.
I would say that the honey miner, you know, again, I'm not hating on anybody, but and I have not used it. I want to verify that. But just what I have seen of people saying that there must be a large percentage that's being taken out. And, you know, that is what it is. You know, I'm glad that people are mentioning it. And, you know, also too, you know, there's people like you, Fomo, where you're just like, hey, I just want to just, you know, play around and see how this works. I would say that if you're a little bit more invested in your mining, though, that you would want to, and it's what I would do. You know, I didn't just mine at one pool. I constantly was looking around and seeing if I could get a better deal somewhere, or, you know, because it does cost to run that stuff too. So I always take that into consideration. And, you know, maybe with the honey miner guys, they don't have such a big network that they can cover all the costs with, where with some of these pools like multi-pool, you know, those guys are making money. So, yeah.
Here's what I'm not going to be necessarily negative towards the honey miner either, but here is what struck me, and take this for what you will. I don't have statistics or screenshots to prove what I'm saying. So, you know, trust me or don't, I don't care. But I had signed up for the honey miner thing and used the ref link, and you're supposed to get bonuses for the ref link. And then I had signed up with my laptop, and the same day and started running it on my laptop on another account through my RefLink. And when I, noticed after several weeks that I still didn't have any RefLink bonuses, and I had, I wasn't the only one that had signed up on my RefLink. There was, 7 others or 8 others too. I reached out to their team and said, hey, is there something I'm doing wrong with this, or what's going on? Because I'm mining, I'm using my RefLink and I'm getting people sign up. And they said, oh, no one on your, none of your RefLinks are mining. And I knew that was bullshit because I was mining on my laptop. So I don't, like I said, take that for what you will. Maybe I just hadn't mined enough that it would be anything they could give a bonus to, but it was they were literally giving me nothing for that. So
right, and if he's saying that there's nobody mining on there, then he's seeing 0. So
yeah,
if you're saying that that's bullshit, then you would know before they would. Yeah, again, like I don't know those guys, and I don't, that's I think it's great. Any kind of innovation here is great, so I get encouraged about that. But the good thing about us policing ourselves is that we can say things like that, and other people can make their own decision.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now that there are many other places that you could go to mine, and it would not be shady. I could direct you to some places that I've used, and they have a lot of clout. OC Miner on Bitcoin Talk, and that guy is pretty solid. You can go to him, and he knows his stuff. And Supernova pools, they're amazing. Like I used them for years, and they were people that would be willing to open up pools, mining pools for coins that just got launched, and they would be like 2 or 3 pools to do it. So there's people out there, man. They I don't even know that it's profitable for them. I think they just enjoy it, and it's an opportunity for them to spread and get people involved. And so yeah, there's many other options. I would even encourage you, Fomo, just go check it out. Go to Multipool. It's I don't know how much you would make on your computer, but you would definitely get an idea of what you're putting in and putting out. They do a great job of giving you statistics, and they'll even give you averages. And I trust that what you're paying is legitimate. And I remember when I used to mine there, I would even donate because I was I appreciated what they were doing so much. So
cool, good info.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I want to go big. I want to get a shipping container in my backyard.
Yeah.
And just
could we
solar panels?
Yeah,
yes.
Could we invest? Could we start a group, a small group of us, invest in something like that? Would that work?
There's lots of places that are doing that.
Yeah, that's what people are doing.
Somebody in the Crypto Twitter Run Club, Pluton Cole, they have what's called the Pluton Group, and they have one of those that they're building in the Mojave Desert, which that doesn't quite compute with me, but
cooling.
But
like ventilation system to get all that hot air out of there.
But they have one of those running currently. I can't remember where he said it was, but then they're doing another project, and it's supposed to be I think he said 2 megawatts. Don't take that to the bank, but it's supposed to be a big one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's lots of people doing that, and I'm sure there's lots of smaller scale people doing that too.
So what I always encourage, man, is to just maybe, this is what I do. I scour Craigslist locally, and you can find good deals. You can find people that are ready to bail, and so therefore your investment is not much. And at that point in time, the ball's in your court. You don't have to rely on anybody else. And depending on how much you're wanting to make on it, I always it's kind of like the trading, put in what you're willing to lose. And with this though, it's a little bit different because think about it, it's so cool. You're the one that's creating a coin that, Yuki might be trading on Bitrex. You are the supplier essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, you're your own bank almost.
Right.
It doesn't get any more of you know, you're pulling the gold out of the ground and selling it. So, you know, I always encourage people to just go ahead and do it themselves. And, you know, especially people that are like me and you, where we don't necessarily have, you know, $10,000 to put on a mining system. And even at that nowadays, you know, $10,000, it really isn't that much. So, you know, unless you're plan on investing, you know, in something, you know, it's definitely a risk. But at the same time, you know, you've got the hardware, which is great. You know, there is physical. You got something physical with your investment, and you know, if you take care of this stuff, it lasts pretty long. So,
with the mining, though, you have to have the longer term mind frame. Is that a correct opinion?
Yeah, man. Like I was saying about that coin that I mined 2.5 years ago. I mean, I'll even tell you what it was. It was EMC2. I mined that years ago, and when it pumped, you know, it just kind of dawned on me. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember mining that coin. I wonder if that wallet is still there. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, man. I've got wallets everywhere as far as mining goes, because in the beginning, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing, man. I was just playing. And so I go back to that wallet, the MC2 wallet, and back then I probably had $200 worth of EMC2. I went back to it this past whatever it was. I think EMC2 was one of the first ones to pop in 2017. But I went back to that wallet and I had like $4,000 in it. It was unbelievable. And my mindset was, I'm selling. You know, I'm selling right here. And it just so happened that I had got a DM that day from a person that I've been with for a while. And, you know, he's kind of a little bit smarter than I am as far as trading and TA goes. And he kind of encouraged me to just keep holding, you know, to not sell here. And I've always been a person that when I see profit, I take it. So I took it, but I was wrong and he was right. And the coin just kept going up. I kind of kicked myself in the butt over it a little bit, but you know, thinking about had I sold 2.5 years ago versus what I got out of it, you know, that's just kind of always been my mindset is that, and especially with the mining, is that, you know, you just never know. You know, it's not something that, even if you mine something today, you know, and you think, oh, this is a great coin, you know, I think this thing's going to flourish. Well, you got to put that into perspective. Flourish as in 6 months or flourish as in 3 years, you know, and it's how much money do you want to make? You know, it's a risk reward thing. It's a lot like trading.
Cool. All right, guys. I think we, if you guys don't have anything else, it's been a little bit over an hour, and we try to keep it tucked close to that. But if you have anything, let's hear it.
So just real quick, like you guys are talking about, you know, these apps or whatever that allow you to like mine from your desktop here. That's what some of these things you're talking about, as opposed to like buying your own rig where you have your own computer that's sitting there actually mining the stuff, I guess is what I'm trying to wrap my head around. And the way to go is, I mean, if you do that like kind of pool thing, mining pool, then you're just sort of like just helping these other guys. I guess the group is sort of mining in a way.
Yes. So what Moby's doing is Moby is mining with a physical piece of equipment. You know, he's using this app. So, you know, he does have the physical piece of equipment there. But, you know, what we're talking about with the pool mining is a specific coin. So let's say Litecoin. Litecoin has, I mean, who knows, probably 50 pools. Probably not 50 pools, but there's a lot of pools. And what the pools are there people that are combining their computers together to mine a certain block. And when they find that block, they split it amongst each other about how much hash power has been put in.
Right.
So versus what the honey miner does, which I think does, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't really looked into it. But if it's like a multi-pool, which is a website that you would go to, it's mining the most profitable coin on the market at the time. That could change 10 times a day.
Right.
And it's giving you, it's got all these wallets, and it's giving you what you've mined into those wallets. And then I guess in the honey miners case, it's selling those at market price and returning the investment to you in Bitcoin.
Right.
Where with multi-pool, I guess maybe you can have that done, but what I would do is I would just keep those coins in those wallets.
Right.
And I would directly send those coins. A lot of times I would directly send them to exchanges or my personal wallets on my computer.
Right.
And I would just hold on to them versus instantly market price selling.
Right.
You know, for
That makes sense. Hell yeah. All right.
Wendy, anything else that you want to add tonight?
No, thanks for having me, you guys. I actually learned a lot about mining and these other apps and different things they had, so it was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
We forced your hand on the mining learning there. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm really into it. It's something I do want to do. I just don't have the funds at the moment to get into it, but hopefully really soon.
Yeah, same here. I think that what I'm doing now with just my CPUs is kind of setting the foundation for me to learn more, because I see, I see the Bitcoin, the Satoshis rolling in, and I'm like, I want more.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, CryptoWendyo, thank you for being on with us. I really appreciate your input and hearing a little bit, learning about you. It's cool to meet new people in the space and start, building these relationships. So I think it's really great that you hopped on here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's fun. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. You guys follow CryptoWendyo on Twitter. She's got some very good content that she posts there, and then she's got other things going on that can be very helpful to you too, I believe. So do that. Yuki and the Goddess, thank you guys for dealing with me again today with the scheduling and my disorganization and just lack of preparedness, I guess.
It's no big thing, man. I'm the same way. I have no idea what's going on. Usually, Tamara kind of keeps me, pointed in the right direction. But yeah, I love being on here. We love coming on the show, and
Thanks, Fomoby.
thanks for having us.
I like that no matter how crappy my Monday is, I've got this going on at the end of the day. So
That's
it
right.
always ends on a good
That's
note.
awesome.
That's right.
Beggar,
Yes. Yes.
thank you, man, for coming back on here.
Absolutely.
I can listen to you forever, Beggar.
Yeah, I like it because Beggar has been, it feels like he's been through the trenches on this stuff.
He has.
Yeah, and you guys thought I was just shilling my family on Twitter. I know what I'm talking about.
We love you, man.
I appreciate this time, Fomo.
All right, guys. Everybody who is viewing in the audience, taking part in the chat, thank you. Trogdor, cool information that you gave us. Everybody else that was in there, I think I saw Jared in there and a couple other names that we're familiar with from Twitter. So thank you guys for viewing. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you again next Monday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.